to start the ball rolling. This is a pair of stacked ESL57s owned by Faye Dunaway, an actress from the 60s and 70s. Here is a pair of gold coloured ESL57s. The gold always looked very nice and retro on the 57s. Here is a modern day stacked pair of 57s, just as Faye Dunaway had. Here we have the original quad ESL57 stretcher for the Mylar. The top roll is the base, I think 12 microns, and the bottom is the treble Mylar, which is either 6 or 3. I think it's 6 micron. And the idea is that you stretch the Mylar across the panel with weights all around it to keep tension, and then it gets pushed into the oven, and that is meant to stretch it to the right amount. Rather different to how it's done these days. I apologise for the quality of these photographs. They're copies of copies. This is Tina Stannard, who was a woman who worked for them, and she spent all day stretching Mylar across quite electrostatic panels. Here Tina is attaching clips to the edges of the Mylar, which are attached to small lead weights, which apparently are held down with shoestrings, and they use small rollers to prevent unnecessary friction. This is an idea which the rollers, which I will be using in my rig. I won't be using weights. I'll be using springs, which provide the same tension. Here Tina is checking the stretching of the Mylar across the panel, getting ready to cook it in the oven. Here she is moving the whole jig, which is on rollers or wheels, pushing it into the oven, and not sure what temperature it is, but it's set to a temperature that they are definitely sure does the right trick. Here Tina is applying the coating onto the diaphragm. They call it mysterious goo. Here Tina bonds the conductive diaphragm to a perforated frame with a hot iron, which you'll see in a later photograph, to give the panel shape and to carry the signal. The holes around the edges are prepared for rivets by a hot iron poking through each. I personally haven't seen the panels inside a ESL57, so this all seems rather strange, but that's how the description is. Tina then rivets the panel to the signal electrode around the edges and down 2 support strips. That's all the description I have of these photos. Here is the actual jig in real life, in modern times. It's owned by a Dutch fellow, and I'm not sure how he acquired it or how many there are. There may only be the one. It looks very prototypish, but that might have been all they used. So this may well be the original and only diaphragm set up for the ESL57. If you look closely at the little white hand thing down the side, that is the iron, I believe, which was used on the original 57 to seal the conductive edges, or whatever process it did. Also, you might see that the top roll is called base. The bottom roll of Mylar is unnamed, but I'm assuming that's the treble. So you can definitely see that it was used for the ESL57. However, in the last photos here, it has a later ESL63 panel inside, so he's using it to do modern panels as well as old ones, apparently. And good luck to him. Just for reference, here is a picture of the modern rig for the ESL63, and as you can see, it's quite different. I will be providing another short expose on the 63 rigs a bit later on.